endless skies. Oh, I'm living that nomad life, city to city, feeling alive. From mountain tops to ocean drives, unchained, I thrive,
Awesome. All right. So thank you so much for joining us here on Nomads 50 Plus. My name is Chris Kalaboukis, and it's my current mission to interview 1,000 digital nomads about their life and how they got into it, just to make it a little bit less scary for those of you out there who are aspiring to get into the life.
Fantastic. And I am Mary Bartnikowski. I've been full-time traveling for 20 years. And if you're feeling a little bit shaky about taking that travel big step, come to one of my retreats. My next one's full photography retreat in Sicily, but I'm offering others. So get in touch, because that can be a nice way to start travel, and then you get your toes in and you try it out, and then you might end up changing your whole life.
That's right. That's what we want you to do. Change your whole life. Well, slowly. For some people, they can't do it quick, right? They need to ease into it.
It depends. I've read so many different stories about what people's experience it was, my own, other people, other ages. I mean, it's just everybody has their own story. It's so vastly interesting how people get into it. Some are they've never even been to the country and they just jump in and go.
Exactly. I was just talking to Nomad Jim. I don't know if you know Nomad Jim on Substack. I was just talking to him a little while ago, and he's like, well, I planned this whole thing out. I was going to retire at 56, and then I'm going to plan this and plan this and plan this and plan this. And then you have other people who just like jump in with both feet and they do it that way. There's no one right way of doing this.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. There's no one right way. Like expat on a budget, Kimberly Ann, she went to Portugal. She'd never been to Portugal.
Yeah.
And
now
so
she loves it.
She loves it. Has a dog. I mean, people do wild stuff, and so there's just no one route to get there.
Yeah. And I read that other Substack was saying, well, you call yourself a digital nomad if you're just a remote worker. But if you can, I mean, it's like, why slap labels on things? It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I get called a digital nomad, but I wouldn't call myself that.
Yeah.
I just work how I work, and I don't think there's even a definition for what I'm doing. So
you're a traveler. We're all travelers, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, people try to put you in a little box. That's why I think this whole thing about being over 50 and traveling, it sounds new to a lot of people, but I've been doing it for 20 years. I started at age 49. So to me, and now I'm 69. So to me, it's like, well, that's been my whole midlife. And it's normal to me, but there's so many different ways you can do this. And the whole ageism thing, I mean, I am so for that, getting that. It's just not what it used to be. When you think of how our grandparents looked at the ages we're probably now.
Right. Yeah.
No. Not like what we're doing.
I was talking to one woman I think she's in India right now. She's in her 20s and she's a digital nomad. And I said, shows targeted to nomads over 50. Yeah. She goes, that's like my parents. I could never imagine them doing anything like that. She just sees them in their little village, puttering around, doing whatever they do. But it's just so different.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
well, I can't imagine my parents doing this. I could never imagine my parents doing this at any age.
Well, they wouldn't want to.
No, exactly.
It wasn't a thing that would be a choice for them. But I mean, there's people that were doing this a long time ago. Like when I started, nobody else I knew at age 49 was doing this. The only person that was traveling solo was my son, who was, he's 30 years younger than me. And he has been to 55 countries. I've been to only 34.
Yeah. Well, you're like one of the OG nomads, basically. You did it before internet, before all of this stuff.
That's right. I did. And so, but the funny thing is, what I did was I made it a priority without thinking about, I won't be able to do it because I don't have Google Translate, which wasn't invented. I won't have Google Maps, which wasn't invented.
Yeah.
I mean, that South America trip, I didn't even take my laptop and I had to go into places, internet spots with PC computers. Ew.
So you actually went into internet cafes? You had the internet cafe experience?
It wasn't even a cafe. It was just computers lined up in a grimy, dank, like gross. And that was the only option.
Yeah,
And I
there's
was
nothing.
actually teaching photography and I would have to take my people in there and use these PCs that I'm a Mac person. This is like, what happened to all the pictures? They just go hiding somewhere. And I'd be like, okay, this isn't going to happen again. I'm going to have to bring my laptop.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
But yeah,
crazy.
but if you think about it, I mean, this now today is the best, absolute best time to do this. It's
Yeah.
the tools everything that we have today. It just makes it so easy. It's so
Well,
much easier to do it now than it's ever been.
yeah. But I have to say, there were some benefits of having nobody know where you were. Like,
That always has benefits in any time, at any time.
well, you know, you just cannot be invisible now, but you could
No,
back
it's
then.
almost impossible to be invisible now.
Yeah,
And in fact, you
it's
don't want to be
harder.
invisible because a lot of people, all of these creators, they need to be online all the time uploading stuff. Otherwise, with social media, you just like people forget you. It's like your numbers go like this, right?
Well, that's true, but if you're thinking it from a purely experiential thing, I've actually had some of my most amazing experiences with people that were either not connected, and these are people that, educated to tribal to, everything across the map. Some of them didn't even have cell phones. I
Yeah,
mean, the experiences I had with people that I never would have met in my neighborhood in Palo Alto
yeah.
were so offline.
Well, we've forgotten about how great it is to be offline.
We have. We've totally forgotten that. And
Yeah,
that's why the trips that I took before you had to be online are actually a very special place in my heart because it was so different to not know how to do anything, have to use a payphone to call. And like the iPhone was invented while I was on that South America trip.
right.
Because when I got back, one of my colleagues at the places where I would do the photography exhibitions, Jungle Digital, showed me, and I still remember I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like I'd been wanting a camera like that forever.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't about the phone at all.
No, who cares about the phone part? I don't even know why we call it a phone. It's not really a phone. Nobody talks on it.
You're right. It's not even a phone, it's everything else.
But
It's
I mean,
picture.
so so
Well,
you did it when it was difficult, but it's so easy now. So what's stopping people from doing it? Why is this such a still barrier for some? Because
it's
there's
just
so
an
many people out dreaming.
excuse because even
Yeah.
when it was you didn't have all this stuff, I wouldn't even say, yeah, it was more of a challenge, but I wouldn't even say the word difficult because there was a lot of fun in that.
Oh yeah.
Of not being known, of not being findable, all that stuff was actually fun. You didn't know when you were going to be able to use Skype. Skype was just starting, and you didn't even know if it would work. You didn't know when you could talk to anybody. Forget Facebook Messenger. I mean, I
Yeah.
got to share this with you. When my son moved to Nepal, it used to cost, if I wanted to call him on a cell phone, he was over there 12 years. It would cost $100 for
Oh
an hour.
my God.
So
Really?
we didn't, yeah,
Holy
this
crap.
was before Facebook Messenger. So if you call, like, because nobody's going to have a landline. I don't even know if they had them in Nepal, but you could call a cell phone. That was the only way
Yeah.
to
And it was a
talk
hundred
to
dollar
someone.
phone call.
Oh my
Yikes.
God. When Facebook Messenger came out, I was like, oh, thank God.
It
So there
would have been cheaper
was,
to just fly and see him.
I know, and I did 6 times. It's like, I'm gonna put my money in
I want to
flight.
save my phone bill. I'm like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We didn't talk that much. So and I'm like that still. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna get that Thai food here in the United States because I'd rather just get on a plane and go to Thailand because I know where to find the real Thai food, and that's in Thailand, not here. So I think it's just an excuse, and I think because I hear this a lot, people will say, "Oh, you're so lucky." It's like this takes planning, saving, executing, gumption. You've got to make your life different and make travel a priority. And I think it just is too much work for some people.
Yeah. Well, I think some people, it's kind of like the whole sort of free will determinism argument. Some people just go through life like a leaf on a stream. They just allow life to take them wherever it takes them.
That's
And there's others
exactly
who are
right.
like, this is the what I control my destiny, I control my life. So we just need more people to realize that you do have some control over your life and you can prioritize what you really want to do over other things. It
Oh,
is
yeah.
doable, absolutely doable.
Absolutely doable. I just read about on Facebook a girl now, she's under age 35, so she could get a certain kind of visa to go to France. She detailed her whole experience on Facebook, and I thought, she did that pretty fast, like in under 6 months.
Nice.
A job in France. I mean, oh, and I gotta say this to people out there. Okay, over 50, it's not gonna apply, but there's countries where you can get a visa for being younger. That's how it is in New
God,
Zealand.
those kids, they get everything, don't they?
I know, I was jealous. I'm like, shit, I want to do that. I want to go there.
How come they can't have like over 50 visas? They should have some over 50 visas out there. Some
I know.
pioneering country. Maybe Estonia. They do things on the edge, right? Maybe they,
Oh, I haven't been there yet. Yeah. Well, now I'm starting to look at some other countries because it's just some of the stuff you have to do to get into Italy, France, and the residency and the visa and stuff. It's a lot easier in other. I just did a video, Albania, Cambodia. What's the other one? I think it's Montenegro. So there's easier places you can land.
is that so? Is that a trend now? Things are getting more difficult in Europe, is it just Europe, or is some other countries as well?
Well, Europe has always been challenging, but the visa thing changes every year. So, like, you don't know what's going to change. So, if you feel like you need to do, like, oh, for example, my friend just got Italian citizenship. It's a lot of work and money. Okay, but
Mm.
she did it. But there's always like these obstacles along the way. So she doesn't have to do a visa anymore. But the one thing that's holding me back from trying, it used to be you could you could find out if your relative was naturalized for free now because so many people want to know. And this
Hmm.
is even if they're naturalized or not at a certain time. It's $300 just to find that out.
Wow.
So you could find out that they were naturalized at the wrong time and you'd still have to pay $300, which I think is a scam.
Mm.
I really don't like
It's just
that.
another tax. They go, oh, there's a big demand for this. Let's put a big fee on it so we
And
can make
this is
some
in the
money off it.
United States that's doing this. It used to be free and now they're charging because they're
Wow.
mad that so many people want to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, great. I have a feeling that I'm probably going to just have to pay and find out that I can't proceed in the whole process. So, anyway, it's just like Italy and France are very difficult. But now I'm reading about other visas, like you can go to school, you can do these other things. It takes a lot of research, but
Oh, there's a lot of that. But
yeah,
so if you had, well, if this is only if you want to stay for an extended period, right? If
yeah,
you
this is
if you don't want to
only
do the Schengen shuffle and go to Armenia or some country outside of the EU for 3 months and then come back in.
exactly.
Yeah. So that can be done.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it's like
totally.
having the citizenship in Europe opens a lot more doors for you though, right?
Well, it does, and then you don't have to do the Schengen shuffle.
Yeah.
Only be there for night. Like I'm doing 3 months in Europe every year, so that 3 months comes up, and I don't want to leave. It's not.
I know. And you can't just go to some other country in Europe. Damn it.
Well, you can. So you can go to Albania. You can go to Montenegro. You can go to. I just found out Georgia. I was thinking that was in Europe. No, that's in like
Oh yeah.
East Southwest
Yeah.
Asia.
Yeah. Yeah, Georgia is not part of the EU, and I just talked to Nomad Jim he's in Armenia right now, and he's like
Hmm.
bouncing around some of these other countries. And yeah, there's plenty of other places you can go that are sort of Europe adjacent, but you just have to
Yes.
be willing to go there for 3 months or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can also, where I go in Sicily, it's so close to Morocco. I mean, there's a lot of options. It's not like doable.
Yeah, it's just too bad you have to be gone for a whole 3 months, right? You just want to go for a week and then come back, but you can't do that.
You can't do that. See, that's the bummer. So then that means you'd have to, go to another continent. I mean, it's not easy to do, but I mean, I've done it. I've skipped around a lot.
Yeah, it's doable. You have to decide you're going to do it and then just do it.
That's what seems to be difficult for a lot of people. It's getting to be where it's not so much money for people, it's more the doing it.
Yeah, because you have the money. The money is not as much as you think. The healthcare is actually better outside of the country. Most places have all the tools and technologies that you need to do whatever you want to do, except a few
Right.
places, you might have some Wi-Fi challenges like we've had in the
Oh,
past.
yeah.
And sort of language barriers are not a problem either because there's people who've gone around and if they learn a little bit of the language. You can typically find somebody who speaks English. So there's really not a lot of barriers there other than sort of like the will to do it.
Well, it's the will. And then the other thing I think that I see happening is a lot of people that were sort of afraid before are now more afraid because of what's happening with governments and
Mm,
stuff like that. That's affecting people like you would not believe when I was still traveling in the pandemic, I would get people writing me on Facebook saying, you shouldn't be doing this wrong. It's like, did I ask your opinion? I didn't even.
but what did they think was going to happen to you? I mean,
Well, no, they weren't compared. This one person in particular, they weren't concerned about me. They were concerned about how I was going to be infecting everyone.
really?
Like, yeah, it was just so ridiculous to me. It's like I'm going to Mexico because Mexico is accepting US citizens and it doesn't matter to me what you think.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're happy in your big house in Woodside. Good for you. But that's not my life.
What is it
So
about social media that makes people want to be armchair quarterbacks for
it's
everybody
so,
else's lives?
I mean, yeah, why, why do you think you have an opinion about me living this way? But
Yeah.
people kind of got, I think what happens is people get judgmental about, for example, I would hear people, they were like, okay, everybody's got to go home and nobody can work. Well, for my business, that means I'm not making any money because
That's
my
right.
business is not all
Yeah.
digital. It's going towards it, but it's not there.
Yeah, you're actually going to places and you're taking pictures, right? So you
Doing
can't just sit at home and do that. It's not possible.
speaking and teaching was all in real time too. So it's like, so one person said to me, well, I don't understand why people will not just stay home. And because they can't do their work at home, myself included.
Yeah.
So people got very judgmental about that without thinking about, this nice woman here vacuuming the floor where I am now and she can't do her job at her house.
Yeah. Well, that's also like a Silicon Valley tech mentality, right? Because a lot of these almost everybody who works and lives around here is in the tech business, right? And almost everybody who works and lives around here can do their job from anywhere in the world,
Right.
right? They don't necessarily need to be here because all their perception is that all work is online. And the reality is that not all work. In fact, most work is not online. It's just this tiny little segment in a particular industry that can do all of their work online. Like
Yeah.
nobody else can. Everybody else has got to go out there and do stuff physically in person.
Yeah, I actually got a photography job. I was living up in Ashland for a portion of time during the pandemic, and I got a photography job in downtown Palo Alto, and it was a high enough price to pay me to, I took a train down to Palo Alto and came back on the train the same day, did the job,
Wow.
photography job, because I
Nice.
was not going to say no to that money. It was a good amount of money.
Well, yeah.
I paid for all my transportation and a lot more than that. And so I still remember the look on these little girls' faces that I was hired to do this family small event, but they
Hmm.
wanted it covered, and I guess nobody thought I would do such a thing, but I'm like, I'm doing it. They looked at me like I was insane for coming all the way from Oregon, but hey, that's what my living is, and I was well paid.
Yeah.
So, you
You
know,
got to do what you got to do.
you
See,
gotta do.
it's like there's so many people who put up these false barriers
Yeah,
about that they don't really, you're stopping yourself. You're like your own worst enemy. You're putting these barriers up and you can just knock them down because they're not real.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think traveling has taught me that besides having my own business, which has also taught me that, but traveling has taught me that it's just a notion in your head that you can't do something that maybe you thought was scary. Like when I first started traveling alone, I would still get scared and apprehensive, but I would just keep going because I had the plane ticket. I didn't know how I was going to get certain places, but I just knew I could figure it out.
Yeah. And nothing happened. I mean, you could be concerned about things, but typically, I mean, that's the thing. It's kind of like the odds are that everything will be fine.
The odds are everything will be fine, but people say things like, "Oh, I know someone that," it's like being pregnant. When I was pregnant and having my baby at home, people would come up to me and go and give me their whole horrible story of birth. And then finally, I'm like, you know what? I'm pregnant. I don't want to hear this. So we're done here.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to you.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah. We could turn those voices off.
And so I'd walk away, and it stopped happening because I was just like, why do people feel like they got to tell me their horrible experience? And my experience was not horrible.
Yeah.
And so why do I need to hear yours, plus being in a vulnerable situation of being pregnant? And I think it's the same with traveling. It's like somebody knows somebody where something terrible happened.
Yeah.
So that means I can't go now.
Because
But that's
that single thing
Yeah.
that happened that one place and that time at that moment will definitely apply to you when you go there at a completely different time in a completely different place, a completely different moment. It's funny. It's almost like, well, it's kind of like what happens with human beings. It's like the thing that triggers us is negativity, right? Whenever we hear negativity, that instantly, gets our attention.
Good
So
point.
so that's why they push it, because it's like, oh, I'm going to get your attention by telling you something negative. And you have to just, like, once you understand that is what people are trying to do, then it takes all the power out of it, right?
Oh, absolutely. But I don't want to hear it.
that's
I don't
well,
want
that's
to hear.
another way of doing it. It's like, I don't want to hear any of this negativity.
Well,
Forget it.
the whole story goes on and on about this horrible thing. And it's like you're just infusing the energy in the room with this awful, horrific thing. And you're like, why is this benefit? Is this benefiting me or anybody here? No, it never is.
No,
So
but
it's
it's
just
grabbing attention. It's grabbing the
But it's
attention.
grabbing attention. Yeah, that's a good point. That's an
Yeah.
excellent point. It's grabbing attention, but it's the bad kind of attention.
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of like she's not telling you this for your own benefit. She's
Yeah.
telling you this to grab attention for herself.
Yes.
So you have to take it with a grain of salt, because it probably has nothing to do with anything real that will ever happen.
Nothing. And
Mhm.
so it's like, well, okay, I don't need to hear your horrible story about having a cesarean because I'm not going to be in the hospital.
Right.
Hello? I'm deciding to be at home in my own bed. Can you get that
Yeah.
part?
Yeah.
No, no one could get it because no one was doing that either. So
Why do people want to tell other people how to live their lives? When did we all become busybodies?
I know it's like this whole busybody thing. Maybe it is. See, this is maybe one of the cons of the whole internet thing because, especially with YouTube, because that's probably my biggest platform of the amount of people. And so the contentiousness, it's like you don't know me, you never met me, but you're willing to give me information that has nothing to do with me.
Mm,
It's usually negative.
mm,
By the way, everyone go to my YouTube channel because you're going to find out a lot of good stuff. I've got over 1,000 videos. I know you do too.
mm.
But, it's mostly positive stuff, but you'll get the most negative comments from people that have nothing to do with, like, they're not enriching your life at all. So I'm like, okay, when did this busybody thing happen? It is really a busybody problem.
Yeah, because they never even knew you before. They didn't know anything about you, but then they watch a video and they immediately make judgment calls on your
Yeah,
video based on something else that they've read, probably
yeah,
something that's never even happened to them. And they're just
oh,
like,
yeah.
let me bring this to your attention. It's like, I don't want it brought to my attention.
I don't want it. I've had to ban people. Just like, I don't want anything to do with you. Goodbye. We won't see you later.
Yeah, well, 'cause that's something that you have to do. I mean, I've heard it said a number of times. It's like you've got to cut cut toxic people out of your life, right? Because then it makes your life much better. And it's so much easier to cut toxic people out when it's just like a ban button. You just have to click, right?
Yeah, it is, but you still have to do it in real time because that's why I told you that pregnancy thing because you're feeling so vulnerable being pregnant. You don't know until you are. And then you're like, wait, do you really think I'm going to listen to every single word you have to say? Like everything you say is landing on me in a not a good way. And I don't
Mm,
even want to be next to you. So it's like, I think, and I think what happens with travel, to bring it back to that, is that people are in kind of a vulnerable state because they're considering doing something that's really new and unfamiliar. And it was the same for me too, because I only did luxury trips
yeah,
and
it's out
spent
of
a
their comfort
thousand
zone to do
dollars a
that sort
day.
of thing,
Yeah, I mean that was like so comfortable, but this was completely out of my wheelhouse to do
right?
it. Go to Nepal and nobody knows English. Actually, a lot of people know English there, but just have it be not the accommodation, the transportation, everything different. Like I just hadn't experienced it, and so people are afraid because it's so different.
Mm,
And then they hear somebody say something negative, and they're like, "Oh, okay, well then I won't do it." And I think a lot of dreams kind of die that way because people are listening to negativity.
yeah, yeah. So, but were you always the type of person to jump in with both feet?
I used to, yeah, I've done a lot of jumping with both feet kind of things. I wouldn't say they
Now,
all
over the
work
course of your
out.
whole life, like were you always that kind of person, or
You
did you
know,
become that person?
I there's a little of both because, when I was little, I was the fourth in five kids. And so I had a lot of freedom.
Mm.
Because the three older ones got most of the discipline and stuff, but by the time I came along, it was just like,
Yeah, by then it's like this is a bonus kid. We don't have to
yeah,
deal
just
with her as much.
be back before it's dark. And it really was true. And so I think growing up like that made me more free in a good way,
Yeah, of
because
course.
my parents were great, education facilities, all that stuff. But it gave me a freedom that I don't think people have now. And so,
Mm.
so when you have that freedom, you do jump in with both feet. But I did notice that you can you can work on your personality. I actually worked on my personality when I started the wedding photography because you had to be more outgoing.
Absolutely.
but I didn't know that you could work on, like, it would just, you'd have to work on it in the moment because I'd
Mm,
have to corral these people to get in a picture. Like, that was harder than taking the picture. Getting everybody together was
yeah.
almost impossible. So I had to be like, okay, the only time we're going to do that is at the wedding because once the reception and drinking starts, I'm not
Oh
doing
yeah.
it there. It's too hard. It has to
All
be
bets
in
are
the
off.
church. So I would like lay the. So it was like a combination of becoming a good business person and taking over and directing because nobody else is going to do that. So it's like you can apply that to travel. It's like, okay, who's going to decide how I'm going to get from A to B? Like right now, I'm setting up all these train tickets in Italy, but they're not available yet to
Mm,
buy.
mm,
But I'm checking every day because I want to get the first crack at the good ones as soon as they go on sale, which I learned from my Italian friend who lives in Florence. That's how you got to do it. And so I didn't know that. So
hmm.
it's like once you figure out something that works, but you didn't know it before, then you're like, oh my God, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
This is so great. Like, you don't know until you try it. So the big thing is you don't know until you try something. That's why you can't listen to
Mm,
people telling you, oh, you can't do it. You can't do it alone. You have to go with somebody. I mean, I've heard every reason in the book why I couldn't do something. And
yeah.
then I would go ahead and do it. And so you do that enough and then you stop listening. So it takes the practice.
Yeah. But you can see that's the thing. I think the interesting thing that you said there is that you can train yourself to be a different kind of person. Because
Yes.
if you're an introvert and I mean, this happened to me when I was working down here at a web design company, and they told me that they had to let me go because they weren't doing too well. And I said, well, I was on a visa. So I said, well, I got to stay. I want to stay in the country, so I have to continue working here. So they said, sure, you can do that, but you have to become a salesman. I'm like, you have to
Oh,
get into sales. And I'm like, I was an engineer. I only ever worked with computers. I didn't
oh
do
my
anything
God.
else. And I said, okay, if it helps me stay in the country. And then I went to all these events and I started trying to meet people and stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
forced myself into being more of an extrovert, and it worked. I actually got some business. I actually ended up like getting paid more in commissions after they switched me to sales than I did before.
Yeah.
So,
Because
I mean,
sales.
it was a pressure to get it done, but you can do it. I mean, at any age. I mean, I was like 40 when I did
Yeah.
this. So, I mean, you can do this at any age. You can train yourself to be an extrovert. You can train yourself to get over these barriers that you've created for yourself. They can be done at any age. You can always learn.
And you don't even have to see it as, oh, when I'm an introvert, you can see it as, okay, I'm going to try something new.
Right.
Um, this is just a couple years ago. I landed in Paris and I was like, took the metro to my hotel and I was feeling so proud of myself. And I passed this restaurant and looked buzzing. And I was like, that looks like a good place to go. And it was Valentine's Day. And I walked in there and I immediately looked like I don't belong because everybody in there was French.
And do they all look at you and go, "What is she doing here?"
Well, they didn't know what to do with me. They're like, do you have a reservation? Because they didn't want to sit outside. It was too cold
Right.
and loud. And I like it on a nice day, but not on a cold day so much. And so I was like, well, I'll just sit at the bar. I thought, that was fine. But they were like folding napkins and stuff. So I'm like, well, how about they all spoke English too? I said, how about if I just sit at this table here, but I won't stay for dinner. I'll only be here for like a short time so you could give it to somebody else. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And then next thing you know, the owner comes over and we're talking and nice guy. And then he goes, he wants me to meet the cook because he's going to California to San Francisco to do this French cooking thing. And he's from Argentina. And like all from that of
Yeah.
going in there. I didn't know they knew English. Of course, he spoke perfect English. And but they were all French. And so it's like you could be totally not getting what that whole scene was, but all you had to do was really just walk in.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And
That's
that's
exactly right.
it. You don't have to say, oh, I got to talk to the, you just had to walk in. And so what I've done a lot in my life is practice holding my head up high and going, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, apparently other people believe it.
Well, I think that's sort of like a key piece.
Yeah.
What you said there was get yourself into that situation,
Yeah.
because there's so many people who hold back. They would look at the restaurant, they go, "Oh, I'm not going to go in there. It's too
Too
busy. It's too
loud,
French. It's
too
too this. It's too
French.
this." So they don't even put themselves in the situation where they can have this experience. So, the actual action of going in is not that big a deal. But once you're in, then everything changes,
Well,
right?
see, yeah, and the funny thing is, a lot of people, and I didn't know this, but a lot of people are afraid to go to a restaurant by themselves, which is, I've been in every country in the world by myself in a restaurant. So it's not anything that I'm like, this is weird. Like, it just feels okay. But okay, let's just take that head on and
Mm,
go, if that's something that scares you, then you have to do it.
yeah,
Just because all it really takes is going into a room and feeling like you're supposed to be there.
yeah. And
People
you don't have
feel
to even do that in
content.
Paris. You can do it down the street in some
Yeah, you
restaurant.
can do it. Yeah, that's the thing about doing an artist date. Like, do it before you go if you want, because then when you're in Paris, you can walk in, and everybody did look at me like, we can tell you're not one of us. And we're not really sure what to do with you because you don't have a reservation and it's Valentine's Day. But then the owner made me feel completely, he actually even made me a card. How sweet
Nice.
is that? And then talked to me. And it was like, I didn't expect this. I mean, you don't expect anything, but at least you've got to try.
Yes.
Up.
But placing yourself physically in that place makes all of the difference,
Oh,
because you're inside. It's like you're getting inside. That's the biggest barrier to get over. But
yeah.
it's just a small barrier. It's like, think about going into anything, going from one room to another in your house. It's, if you could imagine it as something as open and easy as that, then it becomes a lot easier,
Well, you
right?
know what? It was kind of easy because it was right next to my hotel, and I thought, oh, this is great. I don't even have to put my jacket on. I could just walk out and go to this buzzing place that looks really fun, and there's young people there, and there's like, it didn't look like I shouldn't go. I mean, and I think I've gotten better at it too, which is so great at travel, but I don't think I was quite born that way, where you just look at something and go, okay, I think I'll try that. Like, you
Hmm.
have to practice. And
Yeah.
it would be good to practice before you left.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. But it's like so. And sometimes, if you really want to be negative about it, you can even think
Yeah.
to yourself, "What's the worst that could happen?"
What's the worst that could happen? Yeah, and it
They'll
literally,
just say sorry, private party or whatever, and kick you
yeah.
out. It's not like
Yeah.
they're not gonna eat you or bite you or hit you with a head hammer or anything like that.
I actually, the worst thing that happened was in Mexico, in Oaxaca City.
Hmm.
I
What
went to
happened?
a fancy place and they said they always do this in Mexico. It's really irritating because I go out a lot by myself and they'll go, how many people? It's like, do you see anybody with me? Why would you ask that every single time? Like, there's nobody with me. And I don't feel like I have to go find someone. And so anyway, so this one fancy restaurant said, oh, you can't go up to the rooftop, be a solo. And I'm like,
Seriously?
you're really, and I really was like, I'm gonna tell everybody that you do this and tell them not to come. 'Cause I think that
Wow.
I was upset because I really wanted to, and I thought they would never tell a man that. Come on, men that travel for business, no.
That's ridiculous.
I,
That-
I couldn't believe, I didn't actually tell everybody, but I never tried to go there and I would never bring people with me to go there. I don't care
yeah.
how. But that's the most stupid thing that happened.
Well, that actually begs the question about, I mean, you've been to all these different countries. Do you see other, like, have you seen other instances of those kind of cultural differences that have bugged you other than that?
Well, I didn't, yeah, maybe that was a cultural thing, but in a top-notch fancy place, like, come on.
Mm.
I got money, I got my card, I look good. No, it doesn't. Doesn't, not okay with
So
me.
some managers like, oh, it doesn't look good for a single woman alone to be sitting at a table in our bar.
It looks good everywhere else.
I can't
I'm
imagine.
actually making
can't
the
imagine-
scene look good.
I can't imagine anyone thinking that. So I don't know
Yeah.
where their
I mean,
brains were.
that only happened like a couple years ago, and I thought, God, you guys, this isn't right. No, I wanted them to know this isn't right. It isn't a good way to treat tourists with money, and I'm not going to come back ever again with people. I won't.
Yeah.
And they didn't care, but I just thought, so cultural differences. Yeah, I mean, I haven't counted, but nothing that bad
Mm.
for dining in particular. Everything else is, they might go, oh, you're actually by yourself, and they're surprised about it, but they're not going to go, oh, you can't come in.
Yeah. Or the ones where they look at you and they go, table for one? It's like, of course.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you have to remind me?
That happens a lot still, but now it's like, obviously, but okay, fine. If you need to say it loud enough for 3 other countries to hear, okay. But I mean, it's so natural to me that I'm just kind of like, well, I'm a tourist and I'm bringing money, and what is the problem?
Yeah, what is your problem?
It's never a problem in France.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I just always am like, okay, I'm going to another country, but I have every right to be here.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
but I do. So, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm paying for my whatever. So I just think anybody that treat me that way, well, I'm not going to go back, and I'm not going to tell people about you either.
But like you said, this is a real edge case. Like it hardly ever happens.
Oh,
only happened.
yeah. It's only happened once in 20 years that something that ridiculous happened. That's why I was so stupefied, because I thought, oh, I really thought we were farther along than this. And then I just went somewhere else and had a good time. So, so what?
Yeah.
I think I ended up meeting some nice people that night somewhere else. So it's like, okay. Okay.
It's their loss.
You're lost.
It's their loss.
You always have to figure. Okay, one time I was on a bus in Nepal, a local bus, and I got on, and I really thought because I bought a ticket I could actually have a seat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on the bus figuring there's going to be a seat for me. It wasn't. And this is not a smooth. I'm not.
So you can they actually sell tickets for stand.
They
or
don't
no?
tell you that.
Oh,
You just get on the local bus, and if there's not enough seats, too bad. And so I'd been to Nepal a couple times, but I never knew that was going on.
mm-hmm.
So I was like, I have to have a seat. Like, I'm going to fall down. This is a crooked road we're on. Like, this isn't going to work for me. Now, what I could have done, but I think I was saying, I don't know what I was saying. I was thinking maybe I got to get off or something. I don't know what. This is never. So the driver was like, well, too bad. And I'm like, but I have to have a seat. And so finally, this nice young man gets up and gives me his seat.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. There's still some chivalry left in the world. It's
And
good
I'm
to know.
like, I know. And I was so thankful to that guy. I've been saved on buses before, but never to that. And then I found out later, oh, okay, that does happen here. It's a local bus. It's not like a tourist bus.
Yeah.
But I didn't know.
Well, it was full, right? I mean, I'm assuming that it was full. There weren't any
It
seats
was
left.
full.
Yeah.
Now, the other time that happened in Nepal, my son said, oh, it's full. We can sit on the top of the bus. And we did.
You can climb out and sit on the top of the bus? Wow.
On a windy road going up to a mountain peak in the Himalayas. That's what we did.
How do you hold on? Was there like a rope or something
There
like
was a rope.
that? Mm-hmm.
It was
It's a challenge.
wild. Yeah. Yeah. So I've been through some things.
Amazing. Amazing. So how do we so for somebody who's having these issues where like they're not prioritizing the travel is what you were saying earlier. Is
Yeah.
like how do you do that? You just have to understand that if you really want to do this, you should just move something down the priority list and slot
Well,
this in.
yeah, what I did for that first Nepal, India, Bali trip was I had to save money to do it. And so I cut out spending $50 a night with my friends at the bars downtown in Palo Alto. So I basically stopped drinking because it was too expensive. And so I saved a lot of money. And then I just had a completely different mindset because even though it was cheaper, I still had to, I didn't have anybody live in my apartment, so I had to pay my rent.
Mm,
And that was a lot. That was thousands. And then after that trip, I rented it out. So that was covered. But you just change. Do you really want to go? Do you really want to do this big new thing? And so you start going, okay, well, how am I going to get the money? Well, I can do this. I can stop doing that. I'm going to work more. I had more photography. I mean, I didn't just magically have more photography jobs. I was going out and doing more PR and stuff like that. And so I made more money.
hmm
And then I had, like a 6 months to plan it. So you just have to decide you're not going to do these other things that take so much money.
Right.
And you're going to put it all in your travel fund. And I'm still doing it 20 years later. I'm like, okay, well, I want to go to Europe for 3 months, so I got to make it happen.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like anything else, right? I mean, you just need to make the decision and then have the self-discipline to stick to the decision, whether it's, I want to travel or I want to lose weight or I want to be healthier or I want to do this.
Exactly.
It all comes down to this, you got to make the decision and you got to stick to the decision. And
Exactly.
and for some people that's really difficult to do that.
Well, the other thing that I always say is you got to get the flight first and figure it out later. Because if you buy that flight, and I have never missed a flight in 20 years, I've had them canceled, but I have not missed. Once I get that flight, it's like, I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going. I got the ticket. I always go one way, so I don't always buy the way back, but I'm getting over there.
Yeah.
So, and
I
so
think you got to draw that line in the sand for yourself.
you do.
You got to make that, especially if you're really reluctant to do it. If you don't draw the line in the sand, then there's a good chance you just not do it, and you'll
Yeah.
just kick the can down the road even further.
You're probably not gonna do it. If it's like, okay, I hear people go, oh, I'm gonna go in 2027. It's like, I don't think you're gonna do it. That's too far ahead. I do this, the wedding photography. People are like, oh, in 3 years. It's like, why are you waiting so long? Like, okay, fine, a year, but 3 years? I
Well,
mean,
we really
okay.
wanted this venue, and it's booked you 3 years out, and who knows where. It's like how's anybody going to know where you're going to be next year, let alone 3 years from now?
I
It's
know.
impossible. It's impossible to know these things.
I that's what I would always think, even though, I had my place where I didn't travel much then. I mean, I would take 2 or 3 week vacations, which seem very small now, I- but it's too far ahead
Mm,
to say, oh, I'm going to do it anyway. So I hear people say, oh, I'll do that when I retire. I'll do that, blah, blah. You know, okay, for example, Diane Keaton passing away at 79. I know we don't know, but that seems young to me. Like she was so
yeah.
vibrant and no one heard about any kind of disease. And it's like, I know stuff will come out, but it's like, it's kind of shocking where you're starting to see in a lot of other younger people too, that our time here is limited.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. But by the same token, we might live to 100, 120 with
Yeah.
the modern technology and the way things are going. People are living longer and longer. And Mick Jagger's still around. I don't know how old he is, but
It's still dancing.
Exactly.
He
There's
bought a place on Sicily, so he knows what I've been knowing for a long time.
he's one of your neighbors, right?
It's not that
You see him making
far.
the grocery store. What are you buying? Oh, greens. That's good. He's trying to stay healthy.
Yeah, I'm sure no one bothers him there because that's how it is. I saw a video of him in the studio doing a dance routine
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm
What is
like,
he like 95 or something like that?
I think he's late 80s.
Yeah, probably.
But I
And
mean, he moved like he was a younger guy. And so it's like, see, that's the kind of thing with ageism. You don't know how much time you have, but hey, let's really enjoy what we do have, even though we don't know. I was just talking to two people who are my friends,
mhm.
94 and 89, and they were like
Wow.
both telling me that they would love to know when they're going to die.
Why would
And I
they want to
said,
know that?
because they could plan better for the like people coming in 24 hours and
Right.
like they've got plenty of money. And I was like, I don't want to know. And then they're like, why don't you want to know? And so it was like, I'm like, oh, okay. Like I really understood where they were coming from
Yeah.
because they plan things
Yeah.
because beautiful house and they want to stay in it. They're not. And so I thought, oh, that's interesting to do it that way because I never considered thinking that I would know. But then I thought, oh, okay, I can see the benefits of that. But it just was interesting to talk to them about because they're probably closer than me, but who knows?
Yeah. Anything can happen. Well, that's the thing. We don't know we don't know our expiration date, so we should live how that, it's going to last forever as long as we can because you
Well, yeah.
FOMO, right?
Well, that's the thing. And I
Or
thought even with
YOLO.
them, if they knew that it was only 10 more years, well, then for sure they would like he travels every month and he's
Right.
94 back to the East Coast to
Yeah.
see his family because he wants to. And I'm like, and he broke his back
Yikes.
and he's recovered already.
Wow.
He only did it like 6 weeks ago or less. And we all were saying we thought he was going to go
Yeah.
and he's okay. And he's
Yeah.
already been on a trip since
Yep.
then. Like, okay, this is amazing. I told him it was a miracle because I was certain when I visited him right after, I thought, oh my God, this could be it. They were
Yeah.
saying it too, and they were laughing about it. I've learned from
It's a
those
good
two.
attitude to have, I guess.
Oh my God. Anyway, so the point being that it's like people say luck for a lot of things that take planning, execution, saving money, making it a priority. And I just want to make that point that it's like it doesn't have anything to do with luck. It has to do with research, planning, finding things out, and then executing it.
Yeah. Yeah. This
And then
it
when,
actually nothing it really has nothing to do with luck because this is you decided you wanted to do this and you did it.
yeah,
And it would be the same for them. It's like all you have to do is decide to do it and then do it.
yeah.
So it's not luck at all. In fact, there's no luck involved.
There's no luck about. I just heard from a woman who I did a consultation with her first solo trip to Italy, and she's like, she texted me in Rome, and she said, "Thank you for getting me this far. I'm having a wonderful time," and it meant so much to me that she's on the trip because Rome was wonderful, and there she is, and she benefited from the encouragement and the help, and I just thought there's a lot of people that wouldn't have gone. She had a big breakup, and everybody I know that's had a big breakup, and then they go traveling after. 100%
Yeah. Well,
is
it's like
they had a great time.
yeah, it's the moment when all possibilities are open to you. See, I
Yeah.
think that's what it is. It's like right now everyone's on a track, right? You're on this track and
Mm,
people want to stay on the track. But then what happens is that you get derailed. And at that point when you get derailed, it's like a decision point where you can say, well, now I can go off on 17 different tracks. Whereas before I'm on this one track. So the trigger lets you do that. But, nobody knows, or people think that you have to wait for some external trigger to come along and knock you off the track so you can make that decision. But you can do that yourself at any point in time. You can say to yourself, yeah, I want to do this. And that's the decision point. It doesn't have to be something external.
It doesn't have to be, but it sure helps.
Because then you can put the blame on it. Like if it doesn't work out, you could say, well, because of that, that's why I'm here. But if it works really well, you can say, well, I made the decision to do this. So
and it's funny because everybody that goes through something big and horrible thinks they're the only one.
yeah.
And when I started to see that it was everybody, that I thought, oh, this is so great, because it's like this cultural trend. It isn't just me that did this after a divorce for 20 years of marriage. It's all these other people. I mean, okay, maybe I'm was one of the first people to do it, but now so many people are doing it after, a big thing happens.
Yeah.
Life wallop or a breakup or whatever. That it's like, this is so interesting to see that it's a trend.
Yeah. But it's good that I think it's good that people are doing it, because you should always take advantage of these things. It's kind of like they say, never let a crisis go to waste, right?
Yeah.
So use it to turn your life around, have it go in the direction you want it to go in instead of the direction that it was going in, which might not be aligned with what you wanted to do in the first place.
Well, okay. So this is what I've come to see after traveling for 20 years, enduring, where I started to see that it's like, oh, I thought I was going to stay in Thailand and that was going to be my home base country. And I was getting the visa and everything. And I was like 1 inch away from getting that retirement visa, which you can get at age 50 there. They may have changed it. But anyway, and then I got in the motorcycle accident and moved to Hawaii. And if I hadn't gotten in that accident and was laying in the bed recovering, all kinds of bad things, stitches, sprains and stuff, I wouldn't have moved to Hawaii. And moving to Hawaii was one of the best things I ever did for myself.
Yeah.
And so it just wouldn't have happened. I think those things have to turn you around, like you said. And then you get the choice. What do you want to do? You don't have to do that other.
That's right. It's like, you have to look at it. It's like a blessing in disguise. It usually is.
It's a blessing in disguise.
And I know we have to wrap up because it's
okay.
an hour. So good to talk with you. It's so fantastic. So you have all these things going on. I will put the links in the show notes so people can go directly to your.
Oh, good. Yes. Thank you for that. Yes.
Absolutely.
I've got another one to send.
Oh, nice. And then enjoy the rest of your time in Half Moon Bay.
Thank you.
Try to stay warm.
Okay.
Talk to you later.
Okay.
Have a good one. Bye.
Oh, I'm living that nomad life, city to city, feeling alive. From mountain tops to ocean drives, unchained, I thrive, I thrive. Oh, I thrive.